Hello, good evening, students. So, in your class, in the chapter 5, separation of substances, in the last video, you have learnt about your chapter, the topics related to churning, then hand picking, then tracing, then winnowing, and sieving. So, about those topics, you have already learnt how you can separate the substances by using those topics, means by using those process basically. So now you will get to learn about the few new topics like sedimentation, decantation, filtration, evaporation, and condensation. How you can separate the substances by using these processes. First of all, I am going to start sedimentation. What is called sedimentation? So actually sedimentation is defined as the separation process in which solids are separated from the liquid. So keep in your mind, by this process you can separate solids from the liquid. All the solids settle down at the bottom of the beaker and on top a clear layer of liquid is obtained. Suppose if you will mix mud with a beaker of water, then if you will stir the solution or you will stir the mud with a stick properly with the water, after stirring some time, if you will keep the beaker aside for a few minutes, you will watch the heavy particles in the mud. Basically, what are the heavy particles? They are settling at the bottom of the beaker, and the clear water at the top you will see in the beaker. So this process is called sedimentation. Suppose one more example I am going to give, which you can observe in your daily life. All in your home you have the tank where you can store the water. At the terrace, if you have 2-floor or 3-floor building, then at the top of the building there is a storage tank of water. So if you wanna just wash your tank, then what you can do, suppose if you will mix with the water alam, or you can say in Bengali fitkiri, so with the water means alam dust, if you will mix with the water, then whatever the particles, means whatever the germs basically, or whatever the heavy particles will be there in the water, so or contaminated particles will be there in the water, all it will settle at the bottom of the tank. So this process is called sedimentation. Now decantation. It is defined as the separation process in which two immiscible liquids, basically whenever two immiscible liquids will mix, actually they never mix, so whenever two immiscible liquids are there, it can be separated by this process. Or not only the immiscible liquids, after sedimentation process, whenever solids are mixed with the or whenever the solid particles are settling at the bottom of the beaker, afterwards the fresh water, whatever will be the top of the beaker, the sedimentation process already told that you can also the pure water from the top you can also make it separate in another beaker by using the decantation process, and two immiscible liquids also you can separate by the decantation process. This is done by pouring out the clear upper layer of the liquid. Separation of a mixture of oil from water is an example of decantation. You know, oil and water never mix, and water is heavy, or density is more of water rather than the oil. So oil will all the time, it will float on the water. So easily you can make them separate by using the decantation process. Now filtration. It is defined as the separation process in which insoluble impurities are separated from the solution. Filtration is done with the help of filter paper. So if you use the filter paper, you will fix this filter paper in a funnel at the mouth of the funnel, then through the filter paper, whenever you will pass the impure water, then in the filter paper the impurities will stick very properly. So for that case you have to use the filter paper. Filtering mud from the muddy water is an example of filtering. So already earlier mentioned, if muddy water is there, means the heavy particles in the muddy water, it will settle at the bottom by the process of sedimentation, and whatever the extra particles, it will float in the water. It can be separated from the muddy water by using the filter paper. And for better filtration process, you can use parchment paper for the filtering purpose. Parchment paper, their holes are very small, very tiny, rather than the filter paper. So for better filtering process, you can use parchment paper. You can search in the net also, you will get to know about the parchment paper. The pores in the parchment paper are more small or smaller than the filter paper. So this is filtration process. So in the activity with this video, one more activity is attached. By that activity you can get to know about these processes very nicely. And related to these topics, sedimentation, decantation and filtration, you have to do one more activity. Whatever the activities earlier done, 5 or 6, afterwards this activity number will be, I think 6 or 7, whatever the number it will be. So this activity you have to do, and how you have to do, I will give the ideas about this. So after this I will go to the next topic.
Good morning everyone. My name is Rishika. I study in class 6. My school name is MM International School. Friends, due to COVID-19 we are not going to school these days and we are doing online studies. So friends, today we are doing a science activity. Our topic is separation of substances. And friends, what is our activity? Our activity is how to obtain clear water from muddy water. Friends, how we will obtain clear water from muddy water? We will obtain clear water from muddy water by doing 3 processes, that is sedimentation, decantation and filtration. So friends, for this activity we need few things. These are a spoon, a sample of muddy water, 2 beakers, 1 funnel and filter paper. So friends, let's do the activity. Friends, our first process is sedimentation. Friends, as you can see, it is a sample of muddy water and it is a mixture of mud and water. Friends, first of all, we have to stir it well. Friends, after stirring it well, we will not touch it, we will not disturb it and wait for a while. Let's say half an hour. Friends, we will wait for half an hour and find out what will happen next. Friends, after waiting half an hour, what we find out? We find out that the heavier components still down at the bottom of a beaker. Friends, so this process is called sedimentation. Friends, what is sedimentation? When the heavier components in a mixture settles after leaving it undisturbed for some time is called sedimentation. Friends, now we move to next process, that is decantation. Friends, our second process is decantation. Friends, for this process we need another clean beaker. Friends, now we will transfer the sedimented water into another clean beaker. Like this. Friends, as you can see, I have transferred sedimented water into another clean beaker. So friends, this process is called decantation. Friends, what is decantation? The process of removal of water above sediment is called decantation. Friends, our last process is filtration. Friends, for this process we need another clean beaker, a funnel and a filter paper. Friends, first of all we have to take a funnel and put it in the beaker like this, and then take a filter paper and fold it like this. And then make a cone like this. Friends, I have made the cone, and then we will put the cone into a funnel like this. And then we will transfer this water into another clean beaker like this. Friends, as you can see, here we get the clean water. So friends, this process is called filtration. What is filtration? Separation of finer impurities using a filter paper is known as filtration. So friends, here our science activity is completed. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Sedimentation. When the heavier component in a mixture settles after leaving it undisturbed for some time, the process is called sedimentation. Decantation. The process of removal of water above the sediment is called decantation. Filtration. Separation of finer impurities using a filter paper is known as filtration.
Okay students, so now our next topic is evaporation. That you know very well, whenever the liquids get the heat, so it should get evaporated. So that process is called evaporation. Means actually evaporation is a process by which water is converted from liquid to the gaseous state. So now few more related points with the evaporation you have to keep in your mind always. Temperature is the main cause of evaporation. Without temperature, evaporation cannot be done. The temperature at which the water starts evaporating is known as the latent heat of vaporization. So at which particular temperature it starts to evaporate is known as the latent heat of vaporization. Rise in temperature escalates water absorption and retention capacity of the given parcel of air. Movement of air substitutes the saturated layer with the unsaturated layer. Hence the greater movement of air and the greater is the evaporation. If the rate of movement of air is more, then the evaporation rate will also increase. So now ultimately we'll get to know few important factors of evaporation. So with these factors I will give you some daily life examples also. Source of heat. First, this is the main factor for evaporation, that is with the direct relation. Why I have written direct relation? Because if the source of heat, its size will be bigger, then the rate of evaporation will also be more and more, and will be more and more faster. So that's why whenever the source of heat, its size will be bigger, then the rate of evaporation will be faster. That's why there is a direct relation. Next, surface area. If the surface area will be more, then the rate of evaporation will be faster. That's why that is direct relation. If the area will be more, the rate will also be faster. Suppose whenever you will get a hot cup of tea and with a plate, sometimes you will see few persons are pouring that hot cup of tea into that plate. Why? Because the surface area, upper surface area, open mouth, that is more for the plate rather than the cup. So it will get evaporated faster in the plate rather than the cup. So that's why they are taking that hot tea on the plate rather than they are keeping it inside the cup. So sometimes, one more examples you can see, if water will fall on the floor, sometimes we are mopping it with some clothes. That's why little bit of water it is soaking by the paper. First of all, means the cloth, little bit of water is soaking by the cloth, and rest of the water whenever you are mopping on the surface of the floor, that's why in that time you are just increasing the surface area on the floor. So that's why it gets evaporated faster. Next, humidity. But with the humidity, it is inversely related. Humidity means basically whenever the amount of water vapor which is present in the atmosphere, that is called the humidity. So actually in the rainy season, basically nowadays June, July, August, September, this time the humidity is more in the atmosphere, because all the time raining, and if the raining is more, then the humidity is more. So if the humidity is more, then the rate of evaporation will be less. So that's why it is called inversely related, means just opposite. So if humidity is more, then the evaporation rate is also less. So whenever you will wash any cloth and hang outside with a clip or something like that in a rope, you will see it takes more and more time to dry it up, because outside in the atmosphere humidity is more, means the water present in the atmosphere is more. That's why it takes more and more time to evaporate the water from the wet clothes to get drier. So that's why whenever humidity is more, then the evaporation rate is also less. Now, wind speed. If the wind speed is more, then the evaporation rate is more. That's why it is called directly related or direct relation. So that's why when you see sometimes the wet cloths we are hanging inside the balconies, and that time we are just switching on the fan. So whenever there is a fan, so the wind speed inside the balcony is more, and whenever the wind speed is more, the rate of evaporation is faster. That's why the wet cloths are getting dried up very quickly. So these are the main 4 factors for evaporation. One more thing I wanna say, that by the evaporation process you can separate the mixture of salt and water mixture, means salty water mixture you can separate. So if there is a mixture of salt and water, if you will evaporate the solution, that time the water should get evaporated, and in the container, in which container you will keep the solution, in that container the sugar inside the container, you will get the salt crystals inside the container. By this process you can separate the salt and water mixture by using the evaporation process. Now you will get to know about the condensation. Condensation means actually the conversion of water vapor into water. Condensation is caused by the loss of heat basically. When moist air is cooled, it may reach a level when its capacity to hold the water vapor terminates. The surplus water vapor condenses into the liquid stage. In free air, condensation results from the cooling around very small particles named as hygroscopic condensation nuclei. Condensation depends upon the amount of cooling and the relative humidity of the air. You have to keep in your mind, condensation depends upon the amount of cooling, how much it is getting cooled, and the relative humidity of the air. It is influenced by the volume of air, temperature, pressure and humidity. So what are the main factors of condensation? First of all, the volume of air, temperature, pressure and humidity. It takes place when the temperature of the air is decreased to dew point with its volume remaining constant, that you know as dew factor. Basically in the winter season, you know, dew factor is there. So whenever the temperature of the air decreased very low to dew point with its volume remaining constant, volume should remain constant, it will never change. When both the temperature and volume are decreased, then it starts to condense. When both temperature and volume are getting decreased, then it starts to condense. When moisture is added to the air through evaporation, however, the most favorable circumstance is the reduction in the air temperature. So these are the basic things for the condensation. So you know condensation, this evaporation and condensation, these things or these topics are basically related with the water cycle. So in the next class or in the next session, you will get to know about the water cycle, how water cycle takes place, what are the main factors of water cycle, then what is called saturated solution, unsaturated solution, supersaturated solution. About these things you will get to know in the next class, and how water cycle can be tested at your home. About this also you will get to know more and more. So today up to these students. So I hope you all have enjoyed this session. Thank you. Visit again.